Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Bhargavai. And it's a great opportunity to talk to people who are probably, hopefully, some of them future marketers here as well. And to give everybody just a brief introduction, Bhargavai has introduced me, but towards the end, I will also talk a little bit about Whirlwind. But so ever since the lockdown, I'll just do a little story first. So when the lockdown happened, even before the official lockdown went in place, as a precautionary, because we're a team of about 45 plus within our office, and we have 2 floors. So with that, because we have a lot of younger population, we wanted to be very careful and be protective of them. And we started working half strength every alternate day. So half the strength will work from home, half on one day, and the other half would come to the office, and then you'd switch every alternate day. And then once the lockdown started, at first, like everybody else, we faced, major crunch where we had clients calling in saying business is shut. Why are we going to need marketing? So, within a span of a week, we lost a major chunk of our revenue with, clients holding the retainers back and not deciding on, spending on digital marketing. And then slowly and gradually, as the lockdown, continued and phases continued, people started realizing that this is going to be here for a while. And because their customers were online now, and that was one of the only ways to be accessible to the consumers, more and more people started realizing it. And then we started not only getting our, existing retainer clients back on our retainers, but we've had an influx of new clients, very traditional business models who've done no internet marketing to come up and say, I want to build a website. I want digital marketing. I want to do social media marketing. I want to, do an e-commerce website. So it's been a very busy few weeks for Whirlwind. And luckily, the one good thing other than, the increase in revenue and we've kept busy is that we've not been phased, and the lockdown has been pretty quick so far for us. And so even this morning when we were discussing when to open back office and this and that, we're right now dealing with so many new clients onboarding that dealing with the lockdown has been on the back burner now. So luckily we've been doing good. And so, when Bhargav decided to do this session, it was actually a very timely session because we are definitely firsthand seeing the effects of what this pandemic is going to have on digital marketing. And what I was during our brief discussion, I also was telling them that even without that, the scope of content marketing is drastically improving and drastically increasing in our country, all over, but definitely our country. And that's what I'm going to take everybody through in the short presentation that I've created. And then following the presentation, we'll open it for questions. And whenever you want to ask a question about the presentation, just make a note of it and we can always go back to that part. Should I start with my presentation now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let me share my screen. Okay,
got it.
So like I said, the theme of the session today will be content marketing, the way forward. And the way I see it and the way I've been experiencing it is that, marketing itself is no longer, segregated. It's a new blended scene. And what I mean by a blended scene, we will get to in a little while. But to start off with, I wanted everybody to really, really understand this statement that good marketing is not going to be possible without great content. And this is not a new phenomenon. It's been there for years because, content doesn't really necessarily have to be digital, because no marketing is going to happen without that content first approach. So good marketing today happens when the line between traditional and digital strategies, sort of fade. And that's the biggest trend that we've seen in the last couple of years. Slowly that shift is happening, and today definitely that shift is happening. So the traditional and digital are just a medium, but content is going to be at the heart of everything we do, and it has to be in sync. So meaning marketing done right is no longer segregated, but in fact is a blend of cohesive smart strategies. Here is exactly what I was talking about, digital and traditional going hand in hand, and everything is going to be backed by solid content. So if your content is strong enough, then the consumers are going to actually find value in it, and that's how you're going to build your brand, that's how you're going to bring loyalty, and that's how you're going to increase revenues. Again, this is saying pretty much the same thing. The theme of the day is content marketing is king and will continue to be so. And like I said, it's this people are realizing today, but the phenomenon has been here for hundreds of years. So what is content marketing? So if you ever go to Google and type, what is content marketing? This screen that I'm sharing right now is exactly what comes up. And content marketing is defined by the dictionary as a type of marketing that involves the creation and sharing of online material, such as videos, blogs, and social media posts, that does not explicitly promote a brand, but is intended to stimulate interest in its product and services. That means that content marketing is basically, creating and sharing of content to build a reputation, to build the visibility of your brands. And it is also to create long-term relationships with your audience. The point here is you create quality with a lot of value, with a lot of, and the content also has to be very consumable, meaning that, if somebody's looking for something, they should just get that. Because what we've realized with, the access of internet available to so many of us, in fact most of us now, and content is constantly consumed by everyone throughout. If it's not going to be easy to understand, it's not going to be quick and effortless for them, they are going to pass on the content. So that's what value driven, consumable, and relevant content means. And the content has to be shared with them regularly, because if you don't share it, your competitor will, and they are going to get that market share. So now the whole why content marketing, why is it so important, and what do the numbers basically say? So I'm going to, the next couple of slides, we're going to have a few stats. So 60% of consumers enjoy reading relevant content from brands. So, you guys have probably all, experienced this, that there are certain brands that you always, go to their blogs or go to their social media pages, and what they say, you will either smile at or you will either trust, because you're regularly, consuming their content. Next is 82% of consumers feel more positive about a company after reading their content. 70% of consumers feel closer to a company as a result of content marketing. All of that, it's making is creating loyalty and building strong relationships that we spoke about in the previous slides. Some more numbers: 20% of internet users' online time is spent on content. That might seem like one of the lowest numbers in all of this other mix of bigger numbers, but think about it. 20% of the time spent online is actually, consuming content. 68% of people spend reading about brands that interest them. 57% read marketing titles at least once a month. 80% of people appreciate learning about a company through custom content. So, instead of experiencing the products, the trend is that they will first consume the content and understand the brand through that content, then get to the point of becoming a customer. Here are again some other stats, some big numbers with marketing research done. And so basically all of these numbers just show that the trend of content marketing is just going higher and higher. In other words, content marketing is good for the bottom line for brands, and the customers because of three key benefits: increased sales, cost savings. And both of the first two happen because you get loyal customers. And the beauty of content marketing is you're getting loyal customers even before they start buying your products. So imagine once they start buying your products and experiencing all of that content that they've consumed is coming true. All of the things that they've imagined about your products or services are now coming true. That experience, with the product or service is going to just be exponentially greater. Also, customers are rapidly transforming into content consumers. So, if you and I nowadays, if we need something, we don't just go out and, buy it. Yeah, we definitely go out and buy our fruits and vegetables without any reviews. But other than that, you will check out reviews. You will check out what other people have said. Has my friend posted or reposted a story about some brand? Has she or him, used other products that I'm interested in? Let me check out what this hashtag is talking about and who else has talked about this service or product. And all, content reassurance. Again, who's saying what about the products and what do I keep reading about it? Is one of the websites that I follow talking about some content, or is 10 of them? So we don't just, go to that particular brand or business's website or social media page to get content, but we also do more research about it and see what others are saying to make sure that the same thing is repeated over and over again to, sort of give us more proof and assurance that, this content is going to be something which I am okay with, and hence this product or service is something I am interested in. Okay, so now getting to a point of what content marketing involves. And also a quick note is a lot of my slides will use content marketing and digital marketing interchangeably because, the trend has evolved into everything being into a big umbrella of content marketing. Like we mentioned in the first couple of slides that, even the distinguishing line between traditional and digital is sort of blended because it's all content marketing now. So when I say digital marketing, or if I use the words digital marketing, what I'm meaning to say is it's just a medium. But instead of it all going on in a big umbrella of digital marketing, I in fact think that it's all content marketing and digital is just a medium. So content is important, marketing is important, and the digital aspect is just a way, a tactic. Okay. So what does content marketing involve? And generally, I'm sure a lot of you who've done any reading or research on content marketing, they've come across a similar diagram of, what the content marketing cycle is. Well, whenever you decide that we need to do content and, utilize content marketing for a client, what we would do is you do the research. And research would include not only your keywords that you're researching, user intent, what is the user searching for, along with what keywords are working, actually researching what sort of content to, make or create. The next step would be the development and the creation phase. So you're writing the blog, you're creating a video, you're making an infographic. Then you would also go and, the research and the creation will come together into optimization. Have I put enough keywords in it? Have I given enough information that my research says my users are looking for, and optimizing the content? And should I put an infographic within my blog? Should I put a video bite in my infographic as a, part of optimizing it even further? Once you come to that level, and again, optimization never ends. Even content that we've published a few years back, we always go back and keep optimizing it, making it fresh, creating more and more value with existing content. That's a strategy that content marketers all over will continuously use. And after that, the most important part of content marketing is actually the distribution of it, because no matter how great your content is or how well designed your content is, if you don't distribute it the right way, it's meaningless because you're not getting it to the people that you need to attract. And distribution is going to be, you publish it and then you promote it, and you're going to promote it organically and in with paid measures as well. A lot of promotion now happens through influencer marketing as well. So, it's endless. It's an endless cycle of how you can distribute content. And then, of course, you will measure and analyze and then keep repeating. So so the reason I wanted to share this content marketing cycle is just see on the surface, when you talk about the main parts, you can see there are so many different parts to a content marketing cycle, and each part is going to involve so many unique skills, people with so many unique skills. So here itself, you can see, if you keep branching this out, these, few things, with these 6 parts of the cycle, branching it out, so many jobs are already created. So saying that, let's move on to discussing exactly that. What is the scope and what is the future of content marketing, especially in India? So I am sharing this stat with you that, the number of internet users in India is going up. And it's just, me being part of the industry, every time I read this fact, it still baffles me that it's insane how accessible internet is. And, not just people like you and I who are educated, but people, even our home health, they have internet. They have probably more internet, or, they have more bytes of internet than even I do sometimes. And so it's accessible to everyone. And the internet users in India are just going to keep on growing. So we have, by 2021, 829 million users. So just imagine that in the next 10 years, this number is going to be, exponential. Another big stat to look at is by the end of 2020, which is this year, and we are already like almost halfway through, over a quarter of the way through, India's digital industry will produce more than 20 lakh jobs, which means that, it's one of the fastest growing industry. And this number is, similar all over. Some more numbers to share with you to, explain why there is a big scope of digital content marketing in India is customers today check their smart devices every 9.6 minutes. They don't even wait 10 minutes, every 9.6 minutes. And that makes it 159 times a day. So imagine the content consumption. Think of the need for content, right? So if you really think about it, people are on their phone, not because they're wanting to check their messages or, that, yes. But in checking your phone, you're also wanting to there's constantly so much content coming your way that you're inquisitive that what's going to be on my Instagram next. Has somebody WhatsApped me some interesting video? So, and someone somewhere has to create that content, has to distribute that content. And those some people are the 20 lakh jobs. Okay. Next is the number of internet users, which are now, we've established that when you use internet, a lot of it is to consume content. In India is growing at a fast pace at 38%. When you really think about it, that's a big percentage for growth in any industry or, in any phenomenon. But internet users are, 38% is a big number. Next is the growth of India's digital advertising is a whopping 33.5%. So think about it. Just the content part of the marketing, which is paid, the advertising is growing at 33.5%, which means all of the other organic content, you can't even fathom the number because the number keeps fluctuating and keeps going up. So that's just more and more content that needs to happen, hence proven the 20 lakh jobs. And the digital advertising is likely to grow at an average of 14% annually. Again, when you need advertising, what do you need? You need content. So now let's talk about, we know that there's going to be those 20 lakh jobs. Now let's talk about what different types of jobs can you do. So content, when people say content, I think of content marketing, generally what they think is, oh, I need to be a content writer, or content manager, or a content strategist. But that's not it. We remember the content marketing cycle we went through. So we'll visit some of the aspects of what jobs are there. Again, this stat is just mind-blowing, and I've repeated it 3 times already, and again one more time. So digital marketing involves so many different aspects. So even if you just look at the little graphic that I've shared, in this itself, think about how many jobs each of these platforms created. And then think about how many agencies are there in the world hiring and waiting for talented, skilled Indians to start doing work in any of these. Okay. And that's just the big players. Again, when you think of content marketing, there's so many different aspects of it. It's not just I will write the content and I will research the content, but there's just so much involved. There's a strategy involved. You don't have to be able to write content to be able to strategize for content. You need to be a good marketer. After the content is distributed, somebody has to analyze it. So research and analysis. Somebody has to, figure out, how am I going to create this content into a consumable piece of content? So designers and graphic workers. Somebody has to figure out how I'm going to get interaction with this content. So mobile apps creators. And somebody has to figure out, there's some great content out there. Maybe I'll make money by influencing people because I have that reach. So hence influencer marketing. Every other person, nowadays on Instagram is an influencer or a blogger of some kind. And you still see 10 new ones each day. So that itself should tell you that, the scope is giant. Next, again, the different content marketing roles and functions, and the main ones. And again, these I've listed because even the main categories are so many that within each categories, you will have so many more. So, of course, when it comes to content marketing, you will need an editor, writer, somebody who's focused on content and knows the language well, knows the way of writing well, all of that. You will definitely need somebody who is very good in social media, because a lot of the content distribution is going to happen through different various channels of social media. A very, very important part of, content marketing is the analytics. So if you are somebody who's very skilled in numbers and, trends and watching trends and analyzing, there's a great scope for you within the content marketing industry. Again, designers, I mean, people go through design school and, they have big visions. Most of the designers that we've interviewed, they'll say, I wanted to design for such and such, and I wanted to do these sort of designs. But when they start working with us and they realize that, okay, when it comes to content marketing, the designs that you have to focus, like, you actually have to dig deep within the audience's psyche and come up with designs that they're going to connect with. So it's difficult work, but there's great scope for designers. Curation, a lot of content marketing is not really creating new content, but to figure out where that great content is and how to present it. So my audience or your particular target audience is given value. So, hunting. So a lot, if you love to, scope out things and hunt for things, then that's another skill that you can utilize within the industry. Contributors, that's that said, like, you don't have to be even part of an agency, but you can say, hey, I have some great content, would you like me to share some with you? And because of you doing that and creating content for other people, you get a lot of links and you get an influencer status. Also, again, we can't forget any of that. On any of the content marketing cannot happen without the digital aspect now, because the world is digital, and that's why you need to master the art and science of search engine optimization and be a specialist and or start working towards the paid aspect of it, not just organic. Again, just, one of the one part of the content cycle was the development, the create. Within that creation also, there's so many, different little categories that, you have to first create the strategy. So you need people who are good at that. You need people who are good at marketing, you need people who are good at reading the target audience. You need people who are good at strategy, not just marketing. Again, then the next part is going to be research. You could be somebody who can't write, but at the same time you are great at digging deep. And when you dig deep and find the research and find the content that needs to, that can provide extra value, or at Whirlwind what we call 10x value. So, for example, you can write a blog about anything, but that's not providing 10x value. You can write a blog about anything, or you can go and say, hey, here are 10 people who've written these 10 different things about this one topic. I am taking all of those 10 and giving it to you on my blog. That's just 10x value. And that's a great piece of content, because, instead of going to these 10 blogs, your reader is just coming straight to you. And and then because of that value, your reader is going to remember you. And next time he or she is searching for something, they're going to come back to you. Next, which is, again, I kept saying content is not just writing, and it's not just about content writers, but at the same time, writers, the scope for good content writers is phenomenal. And, so when I had my content department, every writer that I've worked with, eventually they become good writers when they start writing with experience. And a lot of times my writers ask me questions like, how did you write that? How are you able to write about anything? And I keep telling them that, I've been on this planet for 39 years. That means anything that isn't absolutely new, I've come across and experienced it at least once. So if I just write about that experience is going to be unique to myself. I don't need to do a lot of research, and I do not need to write about, write how somebody else has written. So it takes a little bit of effort, but if you can personalize your content, you will do great when it comes to content writing. Again, the next part, which content development is involved in, is optimize. There are lots and lots of tools and softwares that we invest in as an agency that you have to use to be able to optimize the content. So you can write a great piece of conversational content, but then you have to make sure that, it matches the user intent of the target audience that's looking for that content. Another part of the content development team is going to be your designers, who are going to create, the main image of the blog, or is going to create the strikingness of the headline, or create a smaller infographic within the content. And again, content, once again, distribution is also going to be part of your development, because as you distribute, you will understand what new content to create. Now going, so we started with the big cycle, then we saw one part, then we came to the content development. And now even within that development, when you're just, figuring out what types of content, imagine all of these types of content that you can create. So even here, you can see that, you need somebody within the content marketing industry that can write and research really great blog posts. Another person that can be hired is they can do long form content and do, well-researched white papers, reports. Somebody who can do podcasts is another job. Guides and infographics, which are very design oriented, visualizing that's another job. Social media department is part of, what type of content you'd create for a client. That's another job. So all of these different types of content also are different opportunities for you to understand that, hey, I am not a good writer, but I can, figure out a lot of what I want to say, but I can say it well. Maybe I will join an agency and start podcasts for them. So you just have to dig deep and figure out what your skills are, because any of your skills can be leveraged within the industry, because we're just all over in such a vast, unique field where every skill can be utilized. Again, different types of content. Now, when you come to the distribution part of it, what are the jobs and what are the skills that you need to, you can leverage in getting jobs as part of the distribution team is, one, again, strategy is very important. So if you're somebody who can strategize well and learn how to strategize or want to get into strategy of it, then here's a good place to start. Again, SEO is part of the distribution, and SEO has been one of the older forms of digital marketing, but one of the best working parts because it's a long-term procedure. Paid marketing, you're never going to not do digital ads with the content that your agency creates. So paid marketing, if you want to learn paid marketing and get into that, that's another job. Influencers, so if you don't want to join any agency but create and distribute content that others create for you or your own created, you can create, turn into, or you can learn how to become an influencer, make a plan and become an influencer. Mobile, there's so many aspects of content marketing that has to happen, with mobile and mobile technology. So that's another little area where jobs are available. And again, even here, the big part is distribution. So if you are on if you are looking to be part of the content marketing agency, distribution's always open. Again, even in the distribution part, there are so many different areas. So each segment is going to create more jobs. Okay, now, so that was basically just what I had in mind when I wanted to talk about what different jobs are available. Now, if we can open up some specific questions, I can, explain those more. If anybody wants to know more about a specific type of job, if anybody has any questions on, can I get a job doing this? What are my skills? These are my skills. What can I do within an agency? I'm interested in content marketing. I've read a lot. How can I go further? So if you guys have any of those questions, I might be able to answer them. If not, I might definitely be able to lead you in the right direction. So now I'm open for questions if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Kinjal. I request all participants, if you have any question, please raise your hand. The raise hand option is available in the participants on the right hand side bottom corner. If you are using mobile phone, then there are 3 dots on the right hand side bottom corner. You can get the option from there.
I think we have I read Pani has raised her hand.
Yeah. I'm trying to unmute her.
Okay.
Pani, can you please unmute from your side? Yeah, Pani, please unmute from your side.
I unmute.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, Pani.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Oh, sorry. Good morning to you.
No, I'm in India only.
Okay.
Evening, maybe.
Sorry.
No problem.
Ma'am, so how can we make a content if we have less time and we need to make more effective content? So what are the steps to keep in mind that we make an effective content in a less time?
Okay, so I don't think content can be segregated as effective and non-effective with time, but there is a lot of short content. So generally when you do long pieces of content like ebooks and guides, it's going to take a lot of research, and then creating is going to also take, but a lot of listicles. So 5 ways to do this, 7 things you should keep in mind, 3 key factors of, so those listicles are very quick to do. Another thing when you want to create quick content is, again, this could be completely irrelevant. If I knew more what you were thinking, I could probably answer this better. But another way to create very quick content is FAQs. Take any topic and do FAQs, because FAQs you can easily research that, what are the questions people are asking about this topic. Let me go and answer. Other quick content you can create is on Quora. Find a question, answer it.
Answer question platform.
Yeah. So those are very quick methods of writing and developing content.
So ma'am, next question, again a question, following question. So that is, what do you think, traditional marketing or web marketing is more convincing to people? I mean, the approach which is more okay to the people. I mean, they would take more. So,
I
what do you
mean,
think of?
it depends. When the marketing is done right, when the ads are done right, and everything falls in place, the medium is not important. What's important, even in digital marketing or traditional marketing, the traditional or the digital are just mediums. What's really important is the marketing part. So if you want to be if you want to be good at content marketing, digital marketing, traditional marketing, what you need to be really good at is marketing. And in marketing, the success comes from the most important part of any marketing is going to be your consumer, your target
Ma'am,
audience. So
I think the strategy is the most important thing, because as to convince people.
knowing your target audience is the most important thing, because unless you know who you are strategizing for, so especially at Whirlwind, the way we do any strategy is we spend an enormous amount of time understanding and getting deep into the psyche of our consumer and the target audience, and then the strategy falls in place. And a lot of times we have created strategies for our client, which, even though we are a digital agency, we will, as part of our recommendation, we will say that some sort of a digital aspect will have to be reflected into a traditional marketing that you can also do. So we also do that as part. So like I said in my introduction, there is no traditional digital anymore. Everything is just big. You create great content, and the way you deliver it, and then we constantly deliver it over and over again, that's when marketing is going to work
So,
beautifully.
ma'am, what are Google AdWords? So,
So when you type something and you see an ad on the top,
okay,
years ago it used to be on the right hand corner. Now the first
yeah,
few, when you say ad, so it's a technical way of if I start telling you what Google AdWords are, I think Dinesh bhai is going to mute me also, because that's a whole different seminar. But it's part of what you can do. So a lot of people get lots of jobs doing paid digital, and part of that is also Google. Another very successful aspect of paid marketing in digital is Facebook and Instagram ads. So people don't only just do Google ads now. A better way to reach the consumers are through Facebook ads. So there are ads you can do in Facebook, and the sponsored
sponsored ads.
posts you do in Instagram. So yeah, those are also paid. Those are ads.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Oh, you're welcome.
Just a minute. Let me see. Drashti. Yeah, Drashti, go ahead, please.
Hi, Drashti.
Yes. Hello, ma'am. So, ma'am,
Yeah.
my question is directed towards digital marketing.
Mhm.
So, recently, moment marketing has been doing a lot of rounds. Like we see a lot of moment marketing, and we also know for the fact that moment marketing has a very short life. I mean, sometimes it's even less than a day.
Right.
So, there are certain brands which it's difficult to invite them into that moment marketing, but then still we do it. So is it really worth the efforts? I mean,
Yes,
what they
yes,
need?
100%. So part of that is when you create content for social media, like a lot of times the team is going to be like, it's taking me so much time to create this one post. And a lot of times we have to remind them that the shelf life of that post is a few minutes, if that. So but in that few minutes, you have to be so, especially because it's such a short span, you have to be so much more effective that somebody remembers you. So the next time they're thinking of it, they will remember that piece of marketing or that piece of ad. So even though it's such a short one, the way it works on your on your psychology and human psychology is, if it's stunning enough, if it's grabbing enough, it's going to work.
But then it's already part of a moment which is going a lot. I mean, there are so many people, so many brands doing
So give me
on the same
an
template.
example that you're thinking of, and maybe I can clear that better for you.
For example, maybe a recent moment marketing could be about Patal Lok, let's say. So
About
if,
what?
if
Sorry,
that becomes the Patal Lok.
Correct. Patal Lok, yeah.
Patal Lok, the new series that has
Right.
come up.
Right.
let's say if brands do take up that as a new moment marketing,
Right.
right? So there are a lot of brands, a lot of agencies doing that people are already consuming a lot of variants about that same very moment marketing. So
Correct.
won't this also get lost in that? I mean, okay,
So
if
think
something
about it. Think about it. When you have your World Cup going on, everything is going to be World Cup. When you have a Salman Khan movie coming up, everything is going to be connected there. So that's why movies and serials and everything do promotions and everything in sync, because just for example, when it's arm season now, you will see arm everywhere. And because we get into that trend, we get into that phase. So that's why movement marketing works, is because us as human beings are used to getting into something and then riding that wave until the next wave comes along. So Patal Lok, and using any connection to it, maybe pick a character, and Amul does great moment marketings, because they'll take an event that's happening, or they'll take an discussion that they've come across, and then do a big billboard about it. And it's just creating memories, and people connect with those moments. And then yes, after that you have to move on. So the shelf life is going to be short, but the effectiveness is very, very intense, because I think a lot of people talk about moment marketing and say that it's a short moment. And I say that moment marketing is because you are in that moment at that time. So if you don't do it, you're losing out. Does that help, Drashti?
Okay, sure, ma'am. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Ms. Kinjal, one question from my side.
Yeah.
See, I can use the content marketing, or maybe our team can use the content marketing to create the brand, improve the brand of the NUV, Navrachana University.
Yeah.
But let's say in Navrachana University, last year we started one center called Center for Professional Education, from where I am coming, where we provide FDPs and MDPs, the training programs.
Okay.
Now, I use this concept to create the awareness that now the NUV has started this line of, let's say, business under the NUV brand. So that awareness can be created through content marketing. If so, just briefly can you explain?
Absolutely. So, a lot of awareness can be created, and content marketing is something you will have to use, and you'll have to use multiple mediums and channels. So for example, use social media, create a landing page and a website where you can bring people. Use email marketing. So you will have to create an email list. To create an email list, you will have to run ads, lead ads in Facebook. So for example, create a piece of content that's going to be in sync with, for example, can you tell me a little bit about the course that you mentioned? Is it a certification or something like that?
Yeah, we provide a small, like say around 1 day, 1 week, 1 month kind of a training program for specific skills.
Okay. So probably create like a quick ebook or a guide or like a list of things, and create a nice downloadable PDF for people to download, something that your target audience will want. And what you can do is you can, share about it. You can do WhatsApp marketing. You can also post that on your Facebook and then run ads on it. So what those are called lead ads. So, and the PDF works as a lead magnet. So any teacher or any professional who wants to do this course will probably want to download that lead magnet, which is going to be providing value to them. So once they hit that, download now, or I want to get, or enroll now, sign up now, register now, you will ask for their email address. And when you get their email address, you can retarget them via email newsletters and emailers. So there's all of that is going to be, cohesive content marketing that you can do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All other participants, please, if you have any questions, please raise your hand, or you can type in a chat box also.
I don't know whether Pani's raised her hand again or it's been raised.
Sorry, ma'am, to ask you again.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so how do we deliver fresh content and a valuable content to the company or the organization?
To the company or the organization, or to the target audience?
So
if you have a client as an agency, if you have a client, how are you going to create fresh content for them?
Yeah.
Okay. So a few things here. I think instead of going after fresh content, go after value driven content, because with everybody doing content constantly, very rarely will you be able to do fresh content, because anything you think of, people have already done.
Excuse me,
So yeah,
So,
yeah.
so does relevance play a role in that?
Sorry.
Relevance.
Of course, relevant. I mean, if content is not going to be relevant, it's not going to offer value. It doesn't matter whether it's fresh or not. So relevant content is definitely a big part of offering value. So I think instead of creating new content, fresh content, because nowadays with the existent, you know how many blogs there are in the world. So anything that you think of writing about, somebody's done it. So instead of focusing on, creating fresh content, like I said, focus on creating bigger value. So a small example that I used earlier is, do a lot of curation is also a good way to provide a lot of value without having to create fresh content. Ebooks and guides that the clients users can use are a great way. So let me give you an example. We had a client called Sans Bottles, and Sans bottles were glass bottles with a vacuum on the lid. So what the vacuum did was it took all the air out of the bottle, and so the liquid content or any content that you put in the bottle would not oxidize. So the ingredients and on your juices or smoothies or milk or anything will last longer and be fresher. So a bigger target audience for Sans bottle was CrossFitters. CrossFitters are a group of health fanatics who do CrossFit exercises. So we needed to target CrossFitters, and what we did was we created a lot of lead magnets for them, like 5 best recipes for CrossFitters, grocery shopping list, and we created a graphical shopping list for CrossFitters. And then at the very end, you can plug in your product and say that all of this is great, but you also have to utilize great products to keep your health ingredients fresher. So that's the way you can think of what new can you create.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And one more question, ma'am, following to that.
Yes,
sorry, ma'am. Okay,
not a problem.
Ma'am, so does your organization keep hand into hand with current trends of social media marketing, or the content marketing, or the digital marketing, etc.?
How do we keep up with the trends?
Yeah.
We're very smart. We're the best. So, and also we create a lot of trends at Whirlwinds. No, but saying, part of being good at what you do is constantly learning. So a lot of what you'll see at Whirlwind is every couple of months we do learning boot camps, and we'll say that this team is now going to focus on researching, and we have a resource and research team as well, which constantly keeps updated, because
updating the new trends.
Yeah. So trends keep changing. Yeah.
Thank you, and sorry for asking again.
Not a problem,
Miss Nisha, please go ahead and ask your question. Nisha Parekh.
Yeah. So, ma'am, the question is, how do we, what kind of revenue can we earn from content marketing? How do we think about revenue generation from the...
Sorry, your voice is I only heard what sort of revenue can be earned from content marketing, and then everything else sort of faded.
Yeah, so that's my major question. What kind of revenue can we earn from content marketing? How do we
it all depends on what your particular position is and what job title you have. So for example, content, do you have a specific job in mind?
Yeah, so we have, there are many design journals coming up these days, and I'm also looking for putting something like that. So, content marketing is very important, and firstly, the revenue generation is something which is very important these days. So, I think design field is what I'm looking into.
Okay, so if you go into designing content, and if you want to create, so if you want to get a job, maybe if you are at an intern level, I would probably say that you will start around probably around 15 to 20 somewhere when you're interning, and then depending on your caliber and how you can create digital designs, it is going to keep going up every year. Also freelancers, there's a freelancer that I work with, and she charges per post. So for a social media post, every post that she creates, she charges between 400 to 1,000. So again, like I said, it all depends on what level you are, what sort of designs are you going to do, and then it's just, if you are better at it than others, you're going to, like, keep polishing your skills. So don't just focus on, how I'm going to create great designs, but like I said, if you want to really do well and become a successful designer within the content marketing, you have to understand marketing as well. So if I were you, get fantastic at your design skills, but also focus on, understanding the target audience and the marketing aspect of it, and blend the two. So if you've not learned any marketing, as a designer who wants to be part of the content marketing industry, learn a little bit of marketing.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. That's a lot of help from you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Nisha.
Yeah, I'll read out one question from the chat box. It says, how to measure a success of content marketing?
It all depends, like what I'll just use an example. So for example, if a client says that, my goal is to get X revenue increase in my e-commerce platform, so then so depending on the goal is how you would measure. So, a lot of content success is also measured in how big was the content reach. What is if we are talking about content marketing in SEO, the measure is going to be, what is your rank? How many keywords are you ranking for that client? How many keywords are you ranking on the top 5? What are the number 1 rankings? And how, what is the trust flow or the citation flow of your website or of a certain page? So there's different sort of measures that you have, and the deeper you get into the industry and the more you learn about the technicalities of it, that's how you measure the success. So for example, in social media, how many likes am I going to get? Am I getting comments? How popular, how many people are resharing my content? So all of that are going to be measures of your content success. But like I said, the best way to do it is figure out what your goal is with that piece of content, and then see how close you come to it.
One more question in the chat box. Any good reference book for content marketing?
Oh, what I would recommend is, by the time you read a great book on content marketing, it will all change. So just go online and read, go online and watch videos, because what, every one of them is pretty much going to be saying a lot of the same things, because there are so many content marketing and digital marketing gurus now that are offering you free content. So consume all of that, go and follow a few great blogs, and what I will do is I will also email a list to Bhargav sir, and he can forward it to you guys. So there's so many great blogs also. I will share the URLs also, some of the top ones, but like I said, constantly keep updating your research. So don't follow just any one book, but there's so much on the internet, and content marketers have to sort of keep updating the content anyways, because otherwise we are going to go obsolete. So people who do great blogs, just read and keep up with the trends. And yes, I will share a list with Bhargav sir, and he can forward it to you guys.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Nirali, please go ahead and ask your question.
Hello.
Nirali, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So, ma'am, we generate content on Instagram, and what I wanted to ask was, how do we get sponsorships or get ads that can generate revenue for us through that content?
Okay, when you say we and us, is it a specific brand, or you're talking about your individual Instagram
No,
feed?
so it's basically it's a design platform, where
Okay. Okay,
so
so
we
you
curate,
design. Okay.
we curate, document, and talk about issues and topics of design.
Okay, so what I would do is you will have to learn how to create custom audiences in Facebook and run Facebook ads, because via the Facebook ads is where you will do Instagram sponsored ads also. You can create a post and specifically promote that post for a fixed budget to your selected audience. You can do stories and promote that also. You can also do dark posts, so which means you don't share it in your stories, you don't share it on your post, but it's just a sponsored ad that people that you select. So, and the key there would be to figure out and to select your custom audience. So read up on it. Again, if you want, definitely let Bhargav sir know, and I can share some resources where you can learn how to do custom audiences and, so do custom audiences and run your ads via Facebook and Instagram. Those are the
Okay.
sponsored ones that you see.
Okay. Okay, I understand
And
that part.
and a lot of that is also trial and error. Say you will spend about 500 rupees a day for one specific target audience, and see how the analytics are see how people are responding to it, and then you can decide whether to tweak your audience accordingly also.
Okay.
Did you
Yeah.
have some other question also?
What I also wanted to ask was how the content that we generate can help generate revenue for us.
Okay, I won't be able to answer that question unless I see your content. So, if you want to reach out to me, again, Bhargav sir has I will share my email address or my WhatsApp number also. You can ask me one-on-one, because without looking at that content, I won't be able to help you, or comment even whether you'll be able to generate any revenue with that.
Okay, I think I'll get in touch with you. Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Next question for the chat. What are the good content marketing strategy for B2B?
There's a lot. Lead ads are a great way. For B2B, a very, very strong content marketing strategy is using LinkedIn to generate meaningful leads. So at Whirlwind, we run a very successful LinkedIn marketing strategy. And for B2B, it's worked wonderful. So, you create a custom profile for yourself or for whoever you're going to run this marketing strategy through the profile. And then there's a formula that we utilize to write the profile in a certain way, which talks to the target audience and, connects with the target audience and talks about your brand instead of talking about you. So that's a big tactic we use. And then we create a messaging sequence which offers a lot of resources and talks about brands. So maybe perhaps the first message is going to be why we should connect. The second message is going to be, here's a great article I read, thought you'd love it. Third message would be, hey, my brand can help you do this, let's connect and get on a phone call. So there's a series of about 9 to 10 messages that we create for the client, and then our team constantly sends it. And there's a thing called sales navigation. We make sure that sales navigator profiles are upgraded for our clients. And so, B2B LinkedIn is a fantastic way to do it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Bhargav, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. In fact, just one more thing I wanted you to help the people who are on the call right now, that how the digital skills of people are going to, I'm sure the organizations now are going to look at digital skills as one of the very key skills. Can you just comment on that and let us know that how?
Right, absolutely. So, in this day and age, to get into this industry, if you're wanting to get a job in an agency, or if you want to create your own freelancing business, or any sort of that, you definitely need to make sure that you know how to use the mediums that you're going to work in. There are so many online trainings that happen. There are free webinars that are happening. Participating, use that time to skill yourself. Invest in it. So no investment. Now, there's a lot of digital marketing classes that are offered. Nothing is going to be comparable to actually doing the actual work, but these classes are a good start. So get internships. I would say the best way to learn any digital skill or any digital strategy or tactics are actually doing the work. And unless you do the work, no matter even if you're very tech savvy or digital savvy, unless you use it often, you're not going to be comfortable enough to get confident in it. So for example, if you want to get into writing, start writing, but also think of when I'm wanting to do content marketing, what are the different tools I have to use? How am I going to incorporate those? What are the different apps I should download along with my Microsoft Word or your keynotes? So all of those are you have to master the digital world if you want to have success. But like I said, start by an internship, or just get a beginning fresher job if you don't have any experience. And if you have experience, keep at it. Does that answer your question?
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Any other questions, Dinesh bhai, is there? Any other questions? No?
No, sir.
All right.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kinjal madam, for your time. It's been about almost an hour that you are on. And it's kind of very interesting aspects that you took us through during the session in terms of kind of knowing about what the future is, the 20 lakh jobs thing.
Yeah.
We are thinking of losing jobs. People are looking at losing jobs, and you took the positive side of how this is going to create 20 lakh jobs. So thank you so much.
To give you sorry to interrupt you, but one quick thing that I want to point out here when you talk about 20 lakhs. So before, and not just that, brands and businesses are realizing that digital or content marketing is what is important. A lot of it is also because the physical aspect is very scary now. Like the trade shows and everything is going to be a distant future now. So how are they going to get their products out? So digital is a great way to do that. But even people, job seekers have started realizing it. So before all of this had happened, at Whirlwind we had about 50 to 60 people applying every single day. In the last week alone, that number has gone to 200. So and every day I go through those emails, and I'm not being able to catch up to how many people are applying to jobs like this. So even job seekers have realized that they want to become a part of this industry. So there's a humongous scope.
So thank you so much for your time, and we really learned the content and how digital is just a medium. Yeah, so traditional and digital, I think, goes hand in hand. And how Absolutely. It is up to an individual or an organization that how do they make the most out of it, looking at the target audience, which is the core of all the things that you do in media. Correct? Yeah. So thank you so much. We end our meeting here, and glad to have your time and effort for this session.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.